fruits. Just as your seeds in a rich soil grow to become trees that bear fruits, the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, helps you sow, invest, nurture, and grow your personal and business plans by serving you with years of banking ingenuity and experience in agribusiness, corporate and commercial banking, consumer finance, e-banking, and many more through our networked branches across the country. Whatever the culture, whatever the dream, we grow with you. Call us today.
Function. New lubricants bottle, user-friendly, redesigned cup. The oil doesn't leak. There's even a new label, looks new and inspired by a car's QR code. All the products you need, the display, the marketing, everything is on there. And it's brought to you by Total Energies. Total Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer. It's an interactive show. So the 14th of March. My name is Bernard. Thank you so much for staying with us. Nathan Kwao and Richard Sky are both here with a lot of, okay, I won't say a lot of newspapers, a few newspapers on a Tuesday. Good morning, Nathan.
Hi, good morning.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good morning, Sky.
Good morning, my man.
Ready for the day? Ready for the day?
We did a day. Like
Ready for the day?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Let's start with Nathan. Start with the Ghanaian Times.
Well, the Ghanaian Times says murder of soldier at Ashaiman 6 suspects remanded is the big story on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. Sorry. ISD launches portal to check misinformation.
Okay.
Education Minister threatens to close down non-performing schools. We read that yesterday. And will use Agric to attain first-class economy if that's according to Dr. Akutu.
Let me take you to the daily graphic for this morning. The big story says, towards election 2024, don't scrap guarantor system. Afarijan advises the Electoral Commission, and my full weight is behind this particular position. Also, we are told ISD launches website to deal with misinformation, the same headline that Nathan read a short while ago. Also, court remands 6 over death of soldier, and experts to discuss post DDEP and how to regain trust. This is a graphic business and Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting.
Okay, the Chronicle says, fear of insecurity, Defense Committee truncates visit to Boku, makes sudden U-turn in Tamale after receiving security brief from the Ghana Armed Forces. Gamanchetu Alan, I pray that you win the NPP race. And ISD sets up website to combat misinformation. And the scripture for the morning, Deuteronomy 31, verse 6, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Amen.
Amen. The Finder says this morning, misinformation undermining democracy and eroding gains. The new ISD portal to provide all the facts to counter phenomenon, according to Kojo Opong Nkrumah, who is the Minister for Information. Also, we are told that Dr. Dufour promises to revive tour when elected president. Also, businessman installed new Agyapong Hene, and with the right investment in a Greek, Ghana will not need IMF, according to the Minister for Agriculture. And then also, Gamanche prays for Alan's victory in upcoming MPP flag bearership race.
The new Crusading Guide says 5 political parties endorse EC's new CI. Other stories, Zoom Lion boss for court, NGSJF calls for accountability. No pending charges against Domiabra chief Asafuache. That's according to the elders. And Abakuma Hene clan has right to ascend Akwetia throne. That's according to the National House of Chiefs.
Let me take you to the Anchor newspaper. More doctors quitting consulting rooms for Parliament as they lace boots to contest NDC MP race. Also, Kujeto drops diplomatic secret, claims Ghana's childhood vaccines were borrowed from Nigeria and La Côte d'Ivoire. Also, the front page this morning, my people are angry. Don't take us for granted, Gamanche warns politicians. And also, Ghana Gas abandons duties in Jomoro. MP unhappy.
Okay, Graphic Business says T-bills interest rate reduction. No easy way out. Medium to long-term risk persists. Other stories, big offshore firms exit Ghana's oil industry. And on the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting, experts discuss post-DDEP and how to regain trust. And of course, there will be very esteemed personalities. Reverend Daniel Ubami Tete will be there, Abda Amwa will be there, and Professor Ebu Texin will be there as well.
And finally, from me, Economy Times says this morning, lending rates to decline significantly. Comes with a photograph of Dr. N.S. Addison, who is the central bank boss. Also, Ghana's purchasing index records marginal growth. And AGM's fallout, a better opportunity to save Ghana from losing huge monies, according to some energy experts they've spoken to.
All right, let's take you online, citynewsroom.com. The lead story, our officials have not harassed Kennedy Agyapong. That's in reaction to the aspirant's comments on, I think, a Kumasi-based radio station that the GRA was harassing him. Meanwhile, Ashaiman MP pushes for independent probe into military raid. Meanwhile, pensioner bondholders are lamenting government's failure to pay matured bonds. Also, NDC will carefully monitor 2024 polls. This is John Mahama. Still on citynewsroom.com. Farmers can help save Ghana from clutches of borrowing. A free Akoto. He also says that Agric will lift Ghana out of poverty. Yesterday, he gave a lecture on the economy. He's a big man, Rob.
Why did you not do that all the while you were?
No, but now he's a candidate.
Okay.
Now, the other stories are PNC, NDP, and other parties back EC's proposed CI for 2021.
P what?
PNC, NDP, and other parties back EC's proposed CI for 2024. And then, Commission must probe Ashaiman military raid. Sittings must be televised according to a security analyst. City Business News is also leading with the pensioner bondholders. They are lamenting government's failure to pay matured bonds. Also, MMDA's urge to profile investment avenues to attract investors. There's a question here. Silicon Valley Bank crisis. What led to stock crash? What lies ahead? It's sort of like an information infograph. My John Online, we've been mistreated on our own land for too long. Government is fuming. Also, government borrowed 70.9 billion CD via T-bills in 2022. And then, I'm not arrogant. A free Akoto woos MPP as he launches flag bearer ship bid.
I see.
And then, if you go globally, allies are unveiling new details of nuclear submarine deal. Charlie, we don't have food to eat. Yeah, we don't have. This is what the sky. British Prime Minister Joe, and then Joe Biden, and then some other guy. They are standing by some sea. UK, US, and Australia are now talking about nuclear powered submarines to help ensure stability in the Pacific.
Fireborne. Fire.
I don't get it. So that's they are focusing on submarine nuclear something.
Like, we don't have food and things. Joe.
So that's what they are talking about.
That's not their concern.
No,
Okay.
they are showing Russia where the power lies. Let's go into this. I think you start with Afarijan this morning.
Okay,
yes.
so let me take you to that story, which is a huge one.
Dr. Kojo Afarijan,
Exactly. So
former EC chairperson.
Exactly. The story is on the front page of the Daily Graphic and is by Emmanuel Ebo-Hodgson. And it says that a former chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Kojo Afarijan, has criticized the commission for its move to discard the guarantor system for continuous registration in our country. Now, in a statement made exclusively available to the Daily Graphic, he said, the contention of the EC that the guarantor system was not robust and therefore the Ghana card should be the sole means of registration was untenable. According to Dr. Afarijan, as far as the National Identification Authority NIA allowed the guarantor system in the registration of the Ghana card, nothing prevented the Electoral Commission from doing the same for the voter registration exercise and making that system more robust as it wanted it. Now, there's a direct quote here that says, what prevents the Commission from instituting in the upcoming constitutional instrument a guarantor regime as robust as or even more robust than the one being used by the National Identification Authority for doing the Ghana card, he queried. Now, he goes on to provide you some background and further details of what exactly he said in the statement.
Well, some 5 political parties say they support the issue.
Have they filed their tax? What's the name?
Stop behaving like the GRA. Kennedy Agyapong yesterday said he thinks the EC's plan to use the CI is bogus. Now, yesterday, apparently, no, it's true. Now, he's saying that, let me read a couple of stories. He's saying that he's been harassed by the GRA, and GRA has had to respond. But let me read that story since it's related. So there are 2 things. 5 political parties say that they support the EC's new CI. Sky is asking if they have filed their tax return. Behaving like GRA. Now Mr. Kennedy Agyapong says his businesses are being sabotaged, and basically that the GRA went to some factory he was building to do some check, and he was not happy. This was from yesterday. He spoke on some station in Kumasi on Friday called Sumpa FM.
Yes.
Now, the GRA has had to respond to this. And the GRA issued a statement today saying, we have not harassed Kennedy Agyapong. So basically, it's his word against theirs.
Yeah.
So we have to bring the 2 of them to resolve the matter. But the GRA has denied allegations that its officials have been harassing businesses belonging to Kennedy Agyapong, the MP for Asin Central. Now, the GRA claims the allegations of an unjustified audit of the MP's company's accounts are false. Quote, the purpose of such audit is to measure and improve compliance with fine-tuning controls. The factory in question, together with other companies, were thus audited to check the value of goods imported and their intended use. We wish to disclose that in January and February this year, about 30 of such risk-based activities were carried out on a number of businesses, it said in the release. Now, the MP had said that following his intentions to contend for, let me read what the MP actually said. He says, my business have been sabotaged. And he's basically said that They cannot use the system to intimidate us. It won't work. It is so sad for me to make this statement. I operated businesses during all the regimes in the Fourth Republic, but I never went through any of the harassment and intimidation, unlike like under this government. Then he mentions the Rawlings administration, Mills, Kufuor, Mahama, and then he says that he opened up a factory which is not even finished, and the GRA people went there. Now, GRA said this is routine, it's part of their risk-based activity that over 30 factories were audited. McKennedy's argument is that the factory is not even operating. And I think GRA is saying that they want to ascertain. So maybe we can find out from the audit people whether this is a routine thing they do. Well, he also threatened to expose the MPP if they dare him. So the 5 political parties too are saying something.
Yes, so this story is in the New Crusading Guide,
including Young Konkwa.
Yeah, and I like the first 5-6 words. It says 5 political parties with no representation in Parliament have endorsed the new CI proposed by the Electoral Commission of Ghana for the 2024 general elections. The political parties are Liberal Party of Ghana, the Great Consolidated People's Party, All People's Congress, National Democratic Party, and the People's National Convention.
So we know where they stand.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's move on.
All right.
They should go and file their accounts. Their annual accounts.
Caffeine.
Let's not do that.
Bernard, let me update you on the situation in Ashaiman in connection with the people.
Yeah, the MP has also filed a statement.
Yeah, I mean, so this story on page 16 of the Daily Graphic says that court remands 6 over death of soldier. Now, Benjamin Honam Glover, reporting from Ashaiman, says that all the 6 suspects arrested by the police in connection with the killing of a soldier in Ashaiman have been remanded in police custody. Now, an Ashaiman Circuit Court in Ashaiman, presided over by Simon Gaga, remanded the 6 persons yesterday, March the 13th, 2023. Now, they are Samuel Tete. It provides the details of their names, but they all pleaded not guilty to their respective charges and will make their next appearance in court.
Meanwhile, the MP for Ashaiman and Esnobe has called for the establishment of an independent committee of inquiry to investigate the invasion of some military men into Ashaiman following the killing of the soldier Trooper Imoro Sheriff in the area. According to him, the committee must be able to identify the officers and bring them to justice for dehumanizing residents in the area. And as Norbert tells City News, the committee, once formed, will be able to solve all the mysteries surrounding the soldiers' invasion. Nathan.
Okay, if you go to page 4 of the Ghanaian Times, the Information Services Department of the Ministry of Information has launched a portal to combat misinformation. Dubbed GhanaToday.gov.gh, the new website, apart from combating misinformation and disinformation, will also serve as a repository of government info that could be accessed by the general public. It will serve as an avenue to disseminate and promote government programs, policies, and projects. Launching the portal, Minister of Information Agyapong Nkrumah said the introduction of the website by the Media Department of the ISD formed an integral part of the reorganization and retooling of government programs, and he said the reforms aimed at equipping the department to serve more audiences with its work, even as the times and media consumption patterns change. So that's coming from the ISD, or the Ministry of Information.
That's good. So let's stay with the electronic space, because if you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, there's a story there that says ban on substandard electrical appliances starts on November 1. So you should have that at the back of your mind. Emilia and then
November.
Yes, November 1. And Diana Mensah are reporting, and they say that effective November 1, 2023, imported electrical appliances that do not meet the minimum energy efficiency performance standard requirements will be banned. Now, the standards are contained in the standards and labeling regulations of the Energy Commission. Now, the move is in line with the new regulations to prevent the country from becoming a dumping ground for 20 electrical appliances, including home, office, and industrial electrical appliances. Now, these came to light in Accra yesterday when the Energy Commission held a stakeholders meeting for importers of new electrical appliances. Remember, we spoke to a gentleman on this particular matter.
Let's go to City Business News. Pensioner bondholders are lamenting government's failure to pay matured coupons. The Pensioner Bondholders Forum has expressed disappointment over government's failure to pay their matured coupons to investors who did not tender their bonds under the domestic debt exchange program. This is the second time the government has failed to pay coupons that have matured between February 6 and 20. In an interview with City News, Dr. Edouard Anentwi, convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, stated that it is up to the government to reach out to the groups with reasons for defaulting. So this is something we need to keep an eye on as well.
On that, on page 3 of the graphic business, graphic business and Stanbic Bank will have a breakfast meeting where experts will meet and discuss post DDEP
Post DDEP headache and stress.
and how to regain trust. Now that function or event will take place on March 21 at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Now the people who will be speaking, Reverend Daniel Ogbami Tete,
SEC.
yes, of the SEC, Madame
Abunamwa,
Abunamwa of the GSE,
And my own professor.
yes, Professor Ebu Texin.
Okay.
Now, Sky, let's come to you.
Bernard, so there's a story here by Lom Desewo on the front page of the Economic Times that says lending rates to decline significantly.
Amen.
Now, this should be good news. Now, the commercial banks' lending rates to the private sector are likely to see a sharp decline in the wake of the recent drop in interest rates on key money market instruments. Now, interest rates on money market instruments dropped significantly to a record low of less than 25% from a record high of 36% in recent times.
Yeah.
Now, the current interest rates for the Treasury bills across the 91, 182, and 364-day tenors is even lower than that of the Bank of Ghana, which policy rate is at 28%. Now, the government, through the BOG, plans to drop interest rates on the money market to as low as 15% in an attempt to reduce its cost.
Let's go to politics now. Alan Chamating is calling on the government. The government is lamenting the usurpation of Ghana lands. But let me start with Dr. Free Akoto.
Okay.
Farmers can help save Ghana from clutches of borrowing. Flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Free Akoto, Owusu Free Akoto, believes farmers could help save the country from what he describes as clutches of borrowing. He said the country could tap into the resources provided by farmers to fund our development instead of going on a borrowing spree, which negatively affects the economy in the short run. Then this, they say if somebody has come out of the river to talk to you for listen. Now there are Akufo-Addo government has been accused by the NDC of borrowing and spending recklessly, thus plunging the economy into an abyss. Now, addressing a gathering at UPS in Accra on Monday, March 13, the flag bearer who said, "What I have learned working with Ghanaian farmers in the past 6 years, especially, is that they need little persuasion to be called into action. The minimal incentive of the PFJ subsidy and others was enough to generate unprecedented growth in the sector of 8.4% in 2021. He says such hard work of Ghanaian farmers represents the resource that the nation ought to tap into to get us out of the clutches of borrowing to finance our development. So I've sent a memo to the finance ministry across cabinet table. He also says he's not arrogant, so people should give him a break.
Okay.
He said that in the same lecture that it's just that he's confident.
Yes.
He's ebullient.
Yes.
That should not be mistaken.
Cambridge trained, so
yeah.
When you're trained in Cambridge, you
in
are
fact,
confident.
if you go to the Ghanaian Times, say we'll use a Greek to do what?
To attain first-class economy.
Okay.
If.
But Alan is also in the system.
Yeah, Alam is also in the system. Yesterday, he called on the Gamanche, and during their interactions, the Gamanche apparently is reported by the finder as saying that he's praying for his victory in the upcoming MPP flag bearership race. And then also, the Gamanche also used the opportunity to actually insist that lands that are being taken away from the Ga people unnecessarily by the state and private people are taking over these lands. That culture must stop.
In fact, that story is on my Joy Online. He says we've been mistreated on our own land for far too long. And the story says the Gamanche need to echo through. The second is agitated by what he describes as disregard and mistreatment of Gans on their own land. According to him, the people are sad about the situation. Dadangbe is sad, so sad because a lot of things that are being done against us. This is why I'm speaking in English today, and I want you to hear me well. We are sad. Of course, this was when Alan paid a courtesy call on him.
Let's stay with politics and people who want to be president. Still on page 9 of the Finder, there's a story that Dr. Dufour promises to revive tour when elected president.
This came in yesterday.
Yeah,
it's just being repeated today.
Okay.
Yesterday we got it on our website, but the papers have also got. I just got a notice of a memo. I don't know if you've seen this in Parliament. A memorandum of road tolls amendment of fees and charges. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, they told us in the budget that they will bring road tolls back.
Hey, so now the proposed amendment, motorbike used to be 10 pesos, it's now going to 50 pesos. A normal motor vehicle used to be 50 pesos, going to 1 cedi. Pickups and 4x4 vehicles used to be 1 cedi, it's going to 1 cedi 50 pesos. Light bus is moving from 1 cedi to 1 cedi 50 pesos. Mami wagon, aka Cholole, 1 cedi to 1.5. Heavy buses 1.5 to 2. Light goods trucks 1.5 to 2. Medium goods trucks, which is 3 axles, 2 to 3. Heavy goods trucks, 4 axles, 2 to 3. And then on and on and on we go. So for most of you listening, if you drive a normal car, you're going to pay 1 cedi instead of 50 pesos for the road toll. And pickups and 4x4 will pay 1 cedi 50 pesos instead of 1 cedi. And the Ministry of Finance has sent this memo to, I think the Ministry of Roads and Highways is in copy. And then the Chief Director has also been notified. So between the Finance Ministry and the Road Ministry, this is going to appear in Parliament and it's going to be approved.
Yes, I hope that as they are bringing this thing back, they are going to be smart about it. The whole idea that I'll have to go and stand in traffic for 2 hours just to pay 150, 1 cedi 50. 1 cedi 50.
You're talking about the way the toll area
exactly, because I was against the scrapping.
We haven't seen any memo on that. The memo is on the amount.
So I'm saying I'm sending a signal to them that as they are bringing this thing back, because I was against the scrapping of the thing anyway, because we need money.
But which money will we use to expand the toll? Maybe we should collect the toll first and use the money to do the expansion.
No. What I'm saying is that they should be smart about it. I don't need to wait in traffic for 2 hours to just go and pay.
For example, when you enter the Legon campus, when you have the Legon campus and you have the electronic card, when you approach you had the CQs. When you approach the gate, it opens on its own.
Yeah, on its own, yes.
So, except those who want to pay cash, you have to wait.
You go to La Côte d'Ivoire, that thing happens.
So I can buy Tema for a year, or I can buy maybe 500 cedis worth of toll. Yes. When I just get to the toll booth, it opens.
But that's still you, Bernard, myself, Godfred, and Nita. We should form a company. Present a proposal to them.
No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Anyway, if you go to page 3 of the Chronicle,
I'll take my salary like that.
There's a feature on Kumasi, and it says Kumasi continues to reel under growing filth. And there are pictures of garbage and all of these things in the CBD of Kumasi. And the story, let me give you just a few words. It says the inability of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to roll out measures to address the growing sanitation challenges in the central business district of Kumasi has seen the city become filthy and accompanied by a foul stench.
Kumasi, the garden city.
This paper can state on authority that the sanitation situation in the central business district, which has been taken over by hawkers, is precarious and needs a holistic approach to curb what is becoming a health emergency.
Okay.
Let's go back to politics.
Yeah, there are 2 stories I want to bring to you quickly, Bernard. There's one that concerns the Honorable Kujetua Blakwa, who is claiming that Nigeria and some other country borrowed us.
No, they didn't borrow us. They lent us.
Okay, yes, that's correct English. They lent us the vaccines, and we'll pay back the vaccines when ours is, coming.
Where are you getting that information from?
Okay, well, the story is in the Anchor newspaper, and it's by Kwame Asiedu Sapon. And it says the Member of Parliament for the Northern constituency in the Volta region has alleged that the recent consignment of, all these vaccines which arrive in the country received by the government were borrowed from Nigeria and La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, in the view of the Honourable Member of Parliament, the government should not shy away from showing appreciation to the 2 neighbouring countries after officials at the helm of affairs at the Ministry of Health, as well as the Ghana Health Service, failed to procure these.
Once they are healthy vaccines and they are available to use, why not?
And then also, more doctors are quitting consulting rooms for Parliament as they lace boost to contest NDC MP race.
I hope they are going to do something better there. There's a lot of them. So I'm seeing Esikado Ketan, Garu, Ho Central, Lower Manya Krobo, Karaga, Keta, almost all kinds of places. Yeah. I don't know if you have the list there.
Yeah, well, no, they don't have the complete list here.
I mean, in the list I have, we have even Keta, Dr. Senanu Jokoto, we have Dr. Titus Bayuo, Dr. Thomas Anaba, Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa is also going to challenge again. Who's Central? We have Dr. Robert Doe.
What is it about Parliament that,
But you worked there for 15 years, you don't know what is there.
Bernard, seriously.
When you see the V8 parking, you know
Bernard, it is almost always a misleading picture.
Go ahead.
I know of more than half of the members of Parliament who cannot even buy fuel to get home.
Yeah, but they want to make a difference. If you want to make a difference in politics, you start with parliament. You don't want to make a difference on radio. Somebody wants to make a difference in parliament. I would ask the money.
Well, I'm not saying they shouldn't go.
More parliament. They should go. We interview them.
It's not that easy.
We should just tell them what we expect from them.
That's all.
We are the ones
This
who
is
need
the
to
Citi
put
Breakfast
parliament.
Show. The city's biggest conversation.
It's not our-
You know, you Papa see that? And it's Rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that.
Yes, so.
Somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine
Younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Hey, sorry. Chairman. Hey,
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
Well, it's beats.
So before we get into the business news, it's brought to us by MTN. Have you ever wondered how to subscribe to a particular MTN service and how to view, add, or cancel your mobile subscription from one place? Just dial *175# to access and manage all your subscriptions everywhere you go. And your OMC of choice, Go, keeps making life easier and so convenient. We now accept Momo for all fuel purchases. Just remember to Momo it at Goil. You can also use your bank card or all bank cards to buy Goil fuel. Drive to your nearest Goil station now and use your card and use it conveniently. Goil, good energy. Good morning. Good morning to you, Netele.
Good morning, Bernard, and welcome to the breakfast edition of Citi Business News. Proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. Coming up, Bank of Ghana pledges commitment to protect depositors' funds in the face of current macroeconomic situations, and pension bondholders bemoan silence over government's failure to honor coupon payments. To our stories now, and the Bank of Ghana has pledged its commitment to protecting the funds of depositors. This was captured in a recent document released by the central bank, highlighting measures aimed at safeguarding the entire financial ecosystem. In a statement, the central bank noted that this will remain a major priority as it will continue to effectively regulate and supervise the RFIs towards promoting the safety and soundness of the institutions and ensuring the stability of the banking industry with the ultimate objective of protecting depositors' funds. The statement also accentuated the bank's mandate, which is to regulate, supervise, and direct the banking and credit systems to ensure the smooth operation of a safe and sound banking system. It noted that in promoting and maintaining the stability of the financial system, the Bank of Ghana continues to collaborate with other financial regulators within the country. The Financial Stability Council, which was established to bring together these regulatory authorities such as the SEC and the NPRA within the financial services sector to identify and evaluate threats, vulnerabilities, and risks to the stability of the financial sector by ensuring that early warning signals on cross-sectional exposures that pose systemic risk are received and appropriate mitigating systems deployed timeously. Moving on, the Pensioner Bondholders Forum have described as worrying government's inability to honor its payment of matured coupons since February 6, 2023. The bondholders explained that government's lack of communication on matters such as this is unacceptable in the financial market. After consultations with bondholder groups, the Finance Ministry promised to begin payment of the coupons from Monday, 13 March 2023, but that is yet to happen. The convener for the pensioner bondholders, Dr. Edu Anani Inchi, has been speaking to City Business News.
It's 13, and no word has been received, and that is the worrying thing that I have been complaining about in the market. The financial market depends on information, and if the issuer is unable to pay, the issuer should come out and let the market know that as a result of ABC, we are unable to pay. The issuer should not sit down. This is the second time the issuer has sat down and wants people to come to the issuer to demand answers. That is not how we should run our financial market. Now, you see, as for the payment, definitely the issuer must pay. The issuer has an obligation to pay, and the whole state has promised through the Ministry of Finance. And as you said, the President has also assured us that payments will be done. And if for any reason the issuer is unable to pay, the right thing for the issuer to do is to make an announcement. Tell the market. There you calm the market. You calm investors. Then investors know what is happening. But if you are supposed to pay by today and you haven't paid and there is no word, these markets thrive on information. Let people know what is happening rather than keeping whatever is the situation is not telling anybody. That is all right for our financial market.
Meanwhile, the forum is scheduled for a meeting to decide on the next line of action to take upon government's failure to honor its payments.
Since we haven't received any payment, we are going to meet and take a decision as to what to do, God's willing. Well, when we meet, we will decide the most appropriate response that we must give to this silence, not receiving any information from government about the payment. We will take the appropriate decision that will be implemented if it has to be implemented.
The Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana has expressed mixed reactions over the self-clearing policy which government is planning to introduce. According to them, although the policy is a good initiative that would help their businesses, they are skeptical of government's ability to effectively implement it. Under this policy, importers can clear their goods from the ports without recourse to custom house agents. Freight forwarders in the country are resisting the move, insisting that it will lead to the loss of nearly 10,000 jobs. Speaking to Citi Business News, Executive Secretary of the Association, Samson Asaki Awingobit, noted that government will need to consult the stakeholders of the policy before implementation begins.
And is that if you go to other jurisdictions, it's accepted. In Europe, it's working. You go there, your cargo arrives, process, then you go and pick your cargo. I'm sure that in those countries, there's not like intrusive examination. Now that we want to introduce self-declaration for everybody to go to the port and clear, look at how the system will be simplified. While other jurisdictions, you can clear your goods on your own without any hassle. But in our part of the world, I don't know whether if we are prepared for that because of this exclusive examination that customs will have to do. We will want to push it back to the jury that will that inclusive examination will be thing of the past. If it will be thing of the past, then of course it will help the business community. It will help in the sense that we have importers who comes around to tell us that, look, I have given in my cargo to a freight forwarder. I've even paid money. The person could not clear the goods for me. The person has also absconded with my money.
Samson Asaki Awingobet is the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. Now on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar remained unchanged and is selling at 11 cedis 2 pesewas. The British pound gained 1 pesewa and is selling at 13 cedis 4 pesewas. The euro recorded no change and is selling at 11 cedis 8 pesewas. However, at some forex bureaus within the capital, the dollar is selling for 12 cedis 60 pesewas, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 90 pesewas and the euro for 13 cedis. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito, is questioning the basis for the recent increment of utility tariffs by the Public Utility and Regulation Commission. He explains that the inefficiencies associated with the supply of water and electricity to consumers is unsatisfactory. The PURC on 1st February increased utility tariff for water and electricity by 29.96% and 8.3% respectively. Addressing a press conference in Accra, the CEO noted that the public regulator must ensure value for money.
Remember last year, utilities were increased more than 4 times, but in terms of supply, it doesn't balance the supply. Just before the first quarter, that we were told that the utilities, electricity went up by, I think, 23% and water by 8%. I was so surprised that Ghana Water Company even came out to make an announcement that they are going to ration water in some of the communities in Ghana. If you are rationing the water, why are you asking me to pay more? Ghanaians can attest. We have challenges with prepaid meters. We have challenges with the app. We have a lot of challenges when it comes to accessing electricity and water. I mean, people's meters, now we are being encouraged to get prepaid meters, which most Ghanaians have accepted. But even to get a prepaid meter has now become an issue.
That was the Chief Executive Officer of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito. Let's now join Mark Jordan Sikanati of DataBank for updates on the bonds market.
At last Friday's money market auction, the Treasury took 3.32 billion Ghana cedis out of bids worth 4.21 billion Ghana cedis, covering the estimated maturities by 1.46 times. The 91-day yield lost 416 basis points to close at 20%, while the 182-day yield contracted 371 basis points to 22.85%. The 364-day yield declined 72 basis points to 26.82%. On the Ghanaian secondary bond market, trading activity improved 14.85% week on week, with a market turnover of 450.86 million Ghana cedis. The 2035 to 2038 maturities dominated trading activity, accounting for 66% of the market turnover. The Data Bank Bond Index gained 0.89% week on week to 97.84 points, translating into a weighted yield to maturity of 9.48%.
That was Mark Jordan Sikanate of DataBank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Netelinete Ajaho. Have a good business day.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That happy moment listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime you recharge yourself with MTN Momo. Keep on talking with that 100% feeling. So, what are we doing today?
MTN.
Isn't life wonderful when everything worth doing is scheduled? Hitting the stop button on your alarm just in time for your morning jog. That happy moment listening to your baby's heartbeat at the doctor's office. Or an arranged virtual meeting with that big client.
Buy airtime ahead of time with scheduled airtime service on MTN Momo. You can schedule your airtime purchase of any amount daily, weekly, or monthly by dialing *170# option 3 and follow the process. Or simply dial *170*311# for a superb airtime purchase experience. You enjoy 100% bonus airtime anytime you recharge yourself with MTN Momo. Keep on talking with that 100% feeling. So, what are we doing today?
MTN.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
712 97.3 City FM. I have a quick question for listeners. Is there somebody you would like to see in Parliament? Somebody in your constituency who's not necessarily doing politics, or who is into politics that you want to see in Parliament? The parliamentary races are heating up, and the anchor's story this morning is quite interesting. almost 10 medical doctors vying for different positions within the NDC for MP. And I'm sure if you get into the other parties, you'll see some interesting new faces. So let's know. Is there any new face you'd like to see in Parliament? What would they bring to the ticket? Or let me rephrase the question. Is there somebody who's aspiring that you think we should know of? Because this person is going to really cause a stir when they get into Parliament. Send us a WhatsApp message, 054-998-6996. The MPP flag bearership race is also heating up. 3 contenders were in the news yesterday. Former Minister for Agric, he did a lecture yesterday. It was live on Citi TV. We'll give you some highlights of that. We also heard from Alan Chamating. He visited the government chair and he managed to get a prayer. The government says you pray for Alan. And then Kennedy Agyapong has also been on air and he's actually saying that there are people who want to sort of get at him because of his position and what he's doing. So we'll do a quick dipstick on the MPP race. We'll also give you our 1 week report. Our what's the word for this? It's not a situational report. So it's an overview of the Heritage Caravan. It happened from the 4th to the 11th of March. They came back on Saturday. We gave them Sunday and Monday to rest. Today they'll come and tell us what happened on those 7 exciting days. But coming up next is Kickoff. Is brought to us by Lesheho. Did you know that for over a decade, Lesheho Savings and Loans has been supporting the investment goals of customers with attractive solutions? Yes, we've always been a safe haven for depositors who value security as well as competitive returns. With easy access to track your funds, we offer flexible deposit products for 91 days, 182 days, and 365 days. Open a fixed deposit account with us now. Call 0577 707 700 and let's achieve your goals together. Lesheho Savings and Loans, a trusted safe haven for your investments. And Shell Fuel Saves Triple Action Formula improves engine efficiency, prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion for extra clean, extra protection, and extra savings, giving you extra kilometers out of your drive. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today because extra kilometers go a long way. Benjamin Nketiah is fully dressed for sports this morning. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning, Bernard. Let's get into the headlines. Accra Lions keep pressure on Adriana Stars with win over Dreams FC in the Ghana Premier League. The Champions League returns tonight. Manchester City up against RB Leipzig, and also France and Juventus midfielder Paul Pogba out for several weeks with an injury. In the NBA, there were wins for the Kings, the Warriors, and the Grizzlies. Let's get into the details now, and let's start off with the Ghana Premier League. There was a Monday game where Accra Lions, they closed out March week 21 of the league with a 3-2 win over Dreams FC last night at the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, Lions took the lead in the 19th minute through Abbas Samari, but Eric Boateng leveled matters for Dreams in the first half injury time. Now, in the second half, Dominic Amponsa scored twice for Lions, while Ebenezer Adade scored what was a consolation for Dreams as they lost the match. Now, the result sends Lions into second place on 37 points, just 2 points behind Adriana Stars. Now, Bechem United, Hearts of Oak, and Asante Kotoko close out the top 5 on the log, while Legon Cities, Tamale City, and Kotoku Royals are in the bottom 3 places. So that's what the Ghana Premier League landscape is looking like. Let's get to more Ghana Premier League related stuff. And assistant coach of Accra Hearts of Oak, David Oklu, is positive that his team's goal scoring in the league will improve. Now, the Phobians have a goal per game record after March Day 21. Speaking after their 1-1 draw at Bibiani Gold Stars, Oklu expressed optimism about his strikers as they contend for the title.
Okay, it has been a problem, but we are still working on it. And I think very soon we will come good. Believe me, today Isaac scored, so something is changing. Isaac is the striker, so you could see that something is changing. One day Neri scored, but you know what happened. So I think we are in a transition phase. So they will score. We have, 39 points more. So if you just imagine, 39 points, we can still win it.
So you had David Oklu, who is assistant coach of Accra Hearts of Oak. Let's get to the camp of Adriana Stars, and their head trainer Samuel Bakwesi Fabian has won the NASCO Coach of the Month award for February 2023. The former Ghana under-17 coach saw off competition from fellow nominees Abdul Karim Zito of Dreams FC and Umar Abdul Rabi, formerly of Mediama Sporting Club. Now, Coach Fabian scooped the award following his team's brilliant performance, which saw them win 3 matches, draw 1, and lose none in the month of February. Meanwhile, Accra Lions midfielder Abbas Samari Salifu has been named as the NASCO Player of the Month for February 2023. Now, Samari beats off competition from 3 other players, including Francis Andy Kumi, Hafiz Konkoni, and Stephen Mukwala. Now, Abbas Samari put up an impressive performance in the month of February after scoring 4 goals in 4 matches and winning 3 NASCO Player of the Month award. So match of the award. So that's what's going on with Abbas Samari. He's been in quite some form. Let's get to some national team related stuff. And former Ghana midfielder Yao Agyapong has thrown his weight behind Chris Hughton's 25-man Black Star squad for this month's AFCON 2023 qualifier against Angola. Now, Hughton will face the media next Monday to justify his selection and outline his vision. Speaking to City Sports, Yao Agyapong is backing the former Brighton manager to have a good start.
I believe the coach was with the team that went to the World Cup, and I believe that he has studied every department of the team. That is why he brought this list, especially seeing some new faces in the team. I think he's very, very good. He's a new coach who don't know much about our local terrain. So his first game, he has to be very, very cautious what he's doing. So I believe that after these 2 encounters, I believe that he will be in the country, go to some of the centers, look at the team, and maybe 1 or 2 players can enter. But now you know the demand. So we all demand that this new team or the coach have to do something good. So I believe we need to support him and give him all the trust so that we can win the coming game.
You heard former Ghana midfielder Yao Agyapong speaking there about new Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton. Let's now head over to Europe because the UEFA Champions League returns tonight. And at the Estadio de Dragao, the round of 16 second legs will resume. FC Porto, they are up against Internacional. It's 1-0 advantage Inter Milan in this particular tie. So FC Porto will be seeking to overturn that particular deficit. Manchester City, they will be at the Etihad when they take on German side RB Leipzig. It's 1-1 from the first leg. So Manchester City have it all to do in this particular encounter. Pep Guardiola says the first leg against Leipzig makes no impact on the game at the Etihad.
It's different managed long time ago, so I don't pay any attention about what happened there. So the first half we were better, the second half they were better. We saw the game, we tried to figure out what we're going to do and try to adjust a few things that maybe can help us to have more control and play a little bit better. Always I believe the transition games always is a coin, you know? Can go in your favor, but it's a knockout game, and maybe the game we need to break more the game, maybe don't. We'll see. At the end, the game will dictate a little bit what you have to do. We'll see.
Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola speaking now. Kevin De Bruyne, who's Manchester City midfielder, says he doesn't believe winning the top prize in Europe cements this Man City side as the best.
No, I don't see it that way, because if you just win the Champions League and don't win anything else, then obviously you could call the best in Europe, and I just don't know, you know, what are the criteria of being the best team in the league, you know. I think everybody has his own opinion on it, and I'm fine, you know, like I said, we want to be the best possible every other year, and you know, in 8 years it's been pretty great.
So you heard Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne speaking there. Stage set for an epic encounter between the two sides. Let's move on to some other stuff. And Manchester United say they will not appeal the red card picked up by Casemiro during the goalless draw with Southampton over the weekend. The Brazilian was sent off for a reckless challenge, his second red card of the season. Now, Casemiro will be suspended for the next 4 games against Fulham, Newcastle United, Brentford, and also Everton Football Club. Let's move on to some other news. And Paul Pogba will miss the start of France's Euro 2024 qualifying campaign after being ruled out for several weeks with a muscle tear. Now, the Juventus star could face up to 30 days on the sidelines as a result of his latest problem. Now, since rejoining the Italian Giants from Man United in 2022, Pogba has been injury-prone, making just 2 appearances totaling 35 minutes. Now, Juventus have confirmed that the 29-year-old Pogba has suffered a low-grade injury to the abductor of his right thigh and has started the rehabilitation process with a view to returning to competitive action. So that's what's going on with Paul Pogba. Let's do some boxing. And Tyson Fury has challenged Alexander Usyk to forgo any rematch clause ahead of the heavyweight's proposed blockbuster bout in late April. And the World Boxing Association confirmed on Friday evening that an agreement had been reached for a fight between the undefeated pair who hold the division's 4 titles between them. Now, here's WBC champion Fury addressing the WBA, the WBO, and IBF champion Usyk.
I've been speaking to the lawyers today, and Usyk's people are talking about rematch clauses and all that bollocks. Here's one to up the antes. How about there is no rematch clause for both of us? Let's up the antes completely. Never worry about what's in the future and how many more dollars you can get after you've been defeated. Worry about the fight, April 29th, no rematch clause, the winner takes the glory, the loser goes home. How about that? Agree to that?
So you heard Tyson Fury speaking there. Let's get to some basketball from the NBA to close it out. The Dallas Mavericks, they have dropped to 12th seed in the Western Conference after losing to the Memphis Grizzlies 88-104 at home. The Mavericks were missing star players Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in that game. The Pacers, they also lost on the road to the Detroit Pistons, and then the Timberwolves look like they want to close out the season strong, this time beating the Atlanta Hawks. The Miami Heat were at home when they beat the Jazz, and then there was the Rockets taking on the Celtics. The Rockets beating the Celtics in what was a surprise result on the night that Golden State Warriors were also up against the Phoenix Suns. Steph and the Warriors winning that game, and then it was the Kings who were up against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Kings losing that game 133-124 in that particular one. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia, the small sport at citysportsonline.com.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey, mama, hey, mama, hey, mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to Let's Go. No matter your situation.
There are those with untold stories, unraveled feats, life-changing stories, and lasting legacies. They tell their stories themselves on footprints.
Yes. Oh, Agyapong, well, we are taking the step. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he was dragging the country into an abyss. Yeah. So we saw it. But they have held power, the guns and so forth. Mm-hmm. Who were we to? We just watched. Mm. But by, I believe, 74-5, the country was seeing through him. That this man was a total misfit.
But he was a happy man.
But because in Akan, there's a proverb.
Be inspired by their hard work and resilience that led to their outstanding achievements as we trace their footsteps through time.
Lincoln, we have one of our, school member died or whatever, so we have to go there and perform during the funeral, whatever. And then I was feeling thirsty, so there was but those days it's not like pure water or whatever. They sell the water in a bottle. Yeah, stuff like that. So there was a bottle there. I thought it was just a water. No, it was application. So I just took it. When I drank it, before I realized, Charlie. So what happened to me, I was like, Charlie, I'll never touch. So since then, I've never touched alcohol.
Okay, so you didn't drink alcohol, and you never smoked?
Smoke, no way. No.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
Never.
Then who comes out of the car? Chachu Chikata and Kojo Chikata. And the Chachu told me that they have, Kojo was sick since the morning and he has been tortured and whatnot, and they have come for medical attention. Of course, naturally, I have to look after them, even though they are very close relatives. So I look at Kojo, I examine him, I notice that he's definitely been tortured. And there was blood, deep-seated blood in the ears. You can see that clearly.
So join me, Samuel Atamensa, and my guests every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 4 p.m. for Footprints, only on Citi TV.
Hi, have you missed any business news this week?
Our appeal to the banks that it is not enough to show fat profits at the end of the year, publish them in the newspapers, and feel good.
Are you looking for a way to consume business news without getting lost in all of the technical language? Well, for our traders down here, all they care about is the fact that this could likely affect the cost of doing business.
We used to pay an average of 3,000 somewhere in November. Now it has shoot as much as $12,000 for a 40-footer container.
Business Weekly brings you all the top business stories of the week in an exciting manner. Business Weekly, Sundays at 3 p.m. only on Citi TV. Well, so, are you ready? Let's go.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world. Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. Citi TV, it's your world. Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363.
We are resorting to more expensive chemicals to be able to get to be able to reduce the process losses. If you go to Odaso, if we were not using the polyelectrolyte, we might not have been able to even get up to 30% of the water to send to Obuasi. But with the use of the polyelectrolyte, we are doing about 50%. And so at every time, you have to increase costs. If you are using the aluminum sulfate, you will have to use, the more aluminum sulfate you put in your water, the more other chemicals that you put in to correct your pH level. So at all times, the costs continue to go very, very high. And I think that if PURC can allow us to pass on the cost to the citizen, yes, politically it might have some implications. But when people begin to see the cost, I'm sure we'll all go onto the rivers and directly get the people who are doing that damage away. If we don't take that seriously, I'm sure even our rivers will die. We are resorting to more expensive chemicals to be able to get to be able to reduce the process losses. If you go to Odaso, if we were not using the polyelectrolyte, we might not have been able to even get up to 30% of the water to send to Obuasi. But with the use of the polyelectrolyte, we are doing about 50%. And so at every time you have to increase costs. If you are using the aluminum sulfates, you will have to use, the more aluminum sulfate you put in your water, the more other chemicals that you put in to correct your pH level. So at all times, the costs continue to go very, very high. And I think that if PURC can allow us to pass on the cost to the citizens, yes, politically it might have some implications. But when people begin to see the cost, I'm sure we'll all go onto the rivers and directly get the people who are doing that damage away. If we don't take that seriously, I'm sure even our rivers will die.
In synthetic of DK Car Rentals. Glorious birthday to my princess. I pray for God's protection over your life. Just grow in wisdom and stature. May God bless your new age. From Chief Inspector Emmanuel Kra to his daughter Joycelyn Nana Ajwa Kra. Happy birthday to lawyer KKK Ampofu or lawyer Triple K Ampofu and Aduma Ampofu of AIS, coming from Joe, Amele, Afrakuma, and Asantua. Hey, so everybody's A, Aduma, Amele, Afrakuma, and Asantua. To lawyer KKK. Take the next step to own your future by taking IELTS with British Council. It's the International English Language Testing System, an English proficiency test used to measure if someone can speak, read, and write English. well enough to study or work abroad in the English-speaking countries. IELTS is accepted by immigration authorities in the UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and US. People looking to immigrate to these countries for studies, work, or live abroad need to take the IELTS. Register with the British Council. And are you finding it challenging managing our value-added services on Vodafone? The Vodafone Content Manager now allows you to check, control, and subscribe to value-added services with ease. Be in control of all your mobile content subscriptions and choose the type of content that suits your style. Dial *463# or visit my Vodafone app now to conveniently manage all your content. Vodafone, further together. KK Kabobo. Ade. And it was right after his studies in recycle management that Paul Kofi accepted the challenge of building houses with plastic waste. Today, not only does he help in recycling waste to save the environment, he provides jobs for many Ghanaians. At APSA, that is what we call Africanacity, the distinct ability of the Ghanaian to always get things done. Africanacity is our inspiration. It defines who we are and what we do. It's our commitment to helping people find a way to get things done. Go to apsa.com.gh for more information. And imagine waking up to the shocking realization that a part of your precious hair has been cut off. It's even worse and more frustrating when you've been patiently growing your strands to get it on the latest fashion trend. Introducing iVest account from Easyway Savings and Loans, a fixed-term investment account that delivers great returns on your investment over a short period of time with no haircut. Open an iVest account today with minimum of 5,000 cedis. Watch your money grow. Call Easyway Savings and Loans 0550-144-144 or visit easyway.com.gh for more information. iVest, no haircut. iVest, excellent returns guaranteed. All right, so I asked if there was anybody you were looking to see in the parliamentary race. I'm getting some names. This one is from Dave. Says there. Okay, let's read. There's lots of comments actually. City, one person I'd like to see in Parliament is Hikmatu Yahya Idi, currently the MPP Women's Organizer for Gomoa West. She won the position with 74% of votes and has since done so much for her constituents. She has put the constituency actors on their toes, including the non-performing DCEs. She will make a lot of difference in both Parliament and the constituency. So this is Hikmatu Yahya Idi. This message is from Zambalma. Good morning, team. My candidate to watch is Maxwell Ziele Agbambila, replaces Cletus Avoka. Maxwell Agbambila. And now this one is from David. Says Dr. Senanu Kwesi Jokoto is the best person to lead the constituency in Keta. This is I call on delegates to vote for him. This is like communal labor. Let's do it together. This is from David. Another one coming in is also on this same Dr. Senanu Jokoto. He's currently the acting voter regional director for health, doing more to propel development in the constituency when elected. Bernard, there's this guy called Richard Gandia Jr. He is commonly known as Shelishe. The guy is exuberant, influential, forceful, tireless. In fact, I can't get the words to quantify his manliness. Richard Gandia. This is from Jomo. Good evening, City. Alhaji Zurak, a.k.a. Sokam Zurak, will remove Dominic Nitiwul, MPP primaries in Bimbila. Eko Ocho Shiles, I do not have anyone in mind good enough to serve in Parliament. At the moment, I'm sure every one of them is looking for their personal interest, nothing else. Bernard, good morning. I wish to see lawyer Akuko representing the people of Ashaiman. Hey, Akuko. You know Akuko? Emmanuel Kumade is a.k.a. Akuko. Yeah, Akuko. Good morning, Bernard. I would like to see Dr. Prince Ahin, who will be contesting NDC in Fanteman, Dr. Kobe Jones of Keta, Amelia Della Amemate of Angono, Edward Agumenu and Edem Agbana, Ketu North, Sedem Afenyo Ga West. Charlie, I'll just listing your friends. There are too many names. Dosire from Amazon, what's your problem? So while we discuss parliamentary races, there's also presidential races with the former Greek minister delivering a lecture on the economy yesterday. Lots of things to say about agricultural sector and the IMF and all of that. And then also we had the Kennedy Agyapong speaking about his travails with the GRA, taking some very controversial positions. For example, he's saying that he thinks the CI that the EC wants to put up doesn't make sense. He disagrees with the gold for oil deal. He doesn't think it's any smart idea. He's your true maverick, saying very interesting things. Then, of course, Alan Tremating has been campaigning as well. I thought it was... I noticed that his slogan had not changed from 2007. Jobs for the people, cash for the people. Same mantra from 2007. Visited the government yesterday. And what I found remarkable was that what the government said made more news than what he said. You get me? So he's the candidate going to see the government to go to campaign. And almost all the news portals are quoting what the government said. So the government has sort of overshadowed him. I don't know whether that's any clue to the kind of campaign he's doing. But I mean, think about it. You're a candidate, you're going to campaign, you've gone to a chief to speak. And then what he says about the Ghana people is more news than what you say. So for what that's worth, I don't know. And of course, we know that there are other people in the race as well. Kabne Agyapong was here a couple of weeks ago. All of that on the Benson banner of discussion this morning.
All right, we'll get into those discussions, but Imperial General Assurance is saying that it's the Imperial Insure and Win promo. From now till the end of the month of March, insure your vehicle with Imperial General Assurance and win handsome rewards, that fuel coupons, gift vouchers, special souvenirs, so many other things. Call them on 0302 788 955 or 0577 667 436 or talk to any of their agents nationwide. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. Now, grabbing your favorite drink for all your different occasions can be tricky sometimes, but if it's Coca-Cola we are talking about, then you don't need to stress yourself. Are you looking for real ice-cold refreshment to quench your thirst and complement your meals? Then go on and grab your favorite 300 ml Coke plastic bottle, which sells at 5 cedis, that are the same size 300 ml Coke Zero, Fanta, and Sprite plastic bottle, which sell at 4 cedis. Coca-Cola, real ice-cold refreshment with your friends and family. Now, with the British Council's road to IELTS, you get all the material you need to get your required IELTS score. The online course is valued at $80, and it includes more than 300 interactive activities, 13 advice and tutorial videos, and 40 practice tests. Go on and register today.
A lot more birthdays coming. Today is the 14th of March. Good morning to Christopher Ntete Atiana on your graduation in Bachelor of Science, Aerospace Engineering. I look forward to you going to space. From your big cousin Mamle to Christopher Tete Atiana. Happy birthday to Aspinate, great guy, lover of God from Grace Community Circles. And to Mrs. Baba Botre, MD of BB Bread and Bar, Wage opposite DVLA. As you celebrate your 60th, may your day be filled with joy and the things that bring you happiness. With love and admiration from your husband Benjamin Botre, and former Deputy CEO FDA and President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, and your brother Abeku Santana. To Mrs. Baba Botre. A few more coming in. Good morning, Bernard. Please wish my husband Lawrence Jar of Promasidor a glorious birthday. The Lord elevate and order his steps and rekindle our love at all times. From your super girls Jinam and Jiram. We love you, Papa. Mrs. Grace Amafiasoboja is the sender to Lawrence Jar of Promasidor. Belated birthday greetings to Dr. Patience Mansa Mba of UPSA Counseling and Gender Unit. May God continue to bless you and make you a blessing. Happy birthday, Mrs. Patience Mansa Mba of UPSA.
All right, this one says happy birthday to Cletus Anafo, Chief Accountant at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. They say he's the worker of the year, and the message is, may the coming year be filled with nothing but abundance. That's coming from El Ankra, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission.
And this one is also coming to my son, Etiam Elvis Ajete, a student of Victory Presby School, Adenta. A happy, glorious birthday on this special day in your life. We rededicate you to God for his undeniable protection, mercy, and favor all the days of your life. May you soar higher in wisdom, stature, and the fear of the Lord. From your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Ajete, and your brother, Enyam Emmanuel Ajete. We love you so much.
That name is very beautiful. Etiam, like he selected me.
Wonderful name, wonderful name. Happy birthday to Taka Awori of Busara, Africa, regular contributor to our thought leadership platforms. Great woman, generational leader by all standards, solid human being. Happy birthday to you, Taka Awori. And to El Oforiata. Happy birthday to you, El Oforiata. Sky, I wanted you to read the GRA statement on Agyapong as an entry point into the discussion about the Prime Minister. Because this whole thing has been pitched as a, what do you call it? It's been pitched as a, like, part of some kind. In fact, let's hear the man. Okay, let's hear the man. He was speaking on Asompa FM, where he says that his businesses are being targeted. I thought this is quite serious. Okay. He's a six-time member of parliament, MPP guy, and he says that, in fact, he actually said that the kind of harassment he's been facing under this government, he's not faced them in his life before. Okay. I don't know what that's true, but this is the specific point he made about the GRA.
It's so sad. Ghana, Yamobo, I will hope. That is why everybody listening to me should vote for me. MPP for more mistake. Let's change this. And now I'm no say Ghana revenue for last week. And mommy letter. Freya so more office we were standard authority building fish where you're from standard authority. Shippers authority. Yeah, Ghana shippers. Building and no more. Fremonia letter. Yakoya kofa letter. Yakoya steel planter misia. Meanwhile, about 65% complete. Ghana revenue, actually, my letter said they want to go and audit me. And then they went there.
Audit you?
Yes.
Yes, still
yes.
You are, yes, no TV.
Yes. Where are you? Yeah.
I'm audit today.
I don't know what they're going to do. Because me a Ghanaian. Me a Ghanaian, I'm a businessman. Omon tia sia kura se Ghanaian wo adwini sei. E bia dwuma emma ni nua Ghanaian ya bia. Enne 10 o'clock. Enipa miensa from Ghana Revenue Authority. E ko di ticket na Japan. Omo akọ onu mo ni ewu. Oti ase sa ahoya no. Emma Ghana for businesses and costs. That is what I stand for. We have to promote Ghanaian businesses. We have to encourage Ghanaians to make money and expand their businesses. What you say? Mozantia biem, Irahu sem biemwa esi. Enra. Eye Ashaiman asema esi mene committee chairman.
That's right.
Yeshia asoja form pen for the minister. Then my wife kept calling. Wafra na me excuse you. Yeah, another and guasem biemini say Ghana immigration steel plant ho India for no one fixing machines Roma kochi.
Ha! Jesus Christ.
Na Agyapong po wa ye MPP empenfo yi bimpo ni o. Na ordinary Ghanaian. So I know the problems Ghanaian businesses are going through. I know why we are not doing well as a nation. Because a country where We only give priority to foreigners against our own citizens. That must change. And the third part is more Ghana revenue for Mujiji bribe. Omuya media omu. May expose Ghana revenue because we should not be intimidated by any institution in this country. We should not. Institutions should work. Systems should work. We don't have a problem. But say what Ghana for? Utu enisi u Ghana for so be guo mojuma. What kind of people and black people? Yeah. Momo di adwuma ma obia. Omu wo office building bia omu si wo kanda ho. Contractors they charge them 10%. Ghana revenue. Adi ami be ye wo mu. Omu fi say me be pre-president inti and say hunu e koso amenka meka upa men to mame. Because I'll live for the rest of my life. And I stand for the youth of this country because the future belongs to them. If we allow these things to go on, there is no future for any young man. If we allow these things to go on, there's no future for business people, Ghanaians. Mimiti ho. Opinion Indian is able to call custom commissioner. I don't even know the custom commissioner, and I don't intend to know.
Okay.
Because I'll do the right thing.
All right.
Why?
Makes a lot of sense.
Why don't I build my country? For Ghanaians, for the youth, also to get jobs. Whether they are auditing, whether they're collapsing their business, I swear to God, Ghana Revenue Authority can never collapse my business. Because I'll fight. I'll fight for the youth of this country. Because that steel plant alone will take 1,000 workers. And we are going there because Kwame Agyapong is a loud mouth. Because he wants to contest into Ubegumejuma. I'm being nice and charitable to MPP for. They shouldn't dare me. They shouldn't dare me. Anybody, I will feel say me contest binti Ubegumejuma. I'll finish the part. The things I'll say, the things I know that I've kept quiet. Master.
So this was Friday. GRA has responded. Sky, you have the response from the GRA. Now, we thought this was serious because they sent this response very early in the morning, and it's a detailed response. So they obviously take this very seriously. Here's their response.
Okay, so the GRA issued a statement titled Alleged Harassment of Honorable Kennedy Agyapong by GRA, and it's dated March the 13th, 2023, and it's copied to all editors. It's signed by Florence Asante, who is the Communication and Public Affairs Department person. And basically, the statement says that management of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has cited a recording of a media interview by the Member of Parliament for Asin Central Constituency, the Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, circulating on social media, in which he accused GRA officials of constant harassment through unwarranted audits of his companies. Now, GRA wishes to categorically refute the specific allegation of harassment at a factory under construction owned by the MP. We wish to clarify that as part of GRA's mandate and in line with World Customs Organization's guidelines in ensuring adherence to best practices, such exercises are regularly conducted. Now, the purpose of such audits are to measure and improve compliance whilst fine-tuning controls. Now, the factory in question, together with other companies, were thus audited to check the value of goods imported and their intended use. We wish to disclose that in January and February 2023, about 30 of such risk-based activities were carried out on a number of businesses. Furthermore, in the area of enforcement and compliance, GRA carries out invoice invigilation exercises to ascertain value-added tax paid by VAT-registered businesses. These exercises entail stationing staff on the premises of VAT-registered businesses such as shops, restaurants, and manufacturing sites to check the issuance of VAT invoices. Now, in September of 2022, invigilation exercises were intensified nationwide in order to enforce the issuance of VAT invoices and to encourage persons who buy goods and patronize services to demand for VAT invoices. This exercise was very successful, and GRA intends to scale up the invoice invigilation exercise from April 2023 as part of its revenue mobilization efforts. Now, in carrying out all these enforcement and compliance activities, staff of GRA have been advised to remain professional and act at all times with integrity as required by the authority's Code of Ethics and Conduct. We therefore encourage any member of the public who has evidence of any alleged corrupt practice by an official of the authority to report such criminal acts to the management of GRA on 0800 900 110 for redress. Now, management wishes to use this opportunity to assure Honorable Kennedy Agyapong and all taxpayers of our readiness to receive complaints and feedback on our work as we partner to mobilize revenue for national development. We also wish to state that GRA remains committed to carrying out its mandate of revenue mobilization with integrity, fairness, and utmost professionalism.
So that's GRA's response. You obviously took the allegations seriously, and because it's been presented in the foray of MPP politics, it's a bit difficult to discuss it because I would have thought that there was a genuine conversation around GRA and some of the activities and the audits they do, which I have spoken to companies that they have had issues with, where they will say they are just auditing you. Say, Akoto, your company will audit you again. They say, you owe 2 million. They do that a lot. And a lot of people feel like GRA uses that to intimidate and harass them. And the business environment is already tough, right? They're raising taxes. This is probably the toughest time to do business in any part of the world, and in Ghana as well, where there's new taxes they are contemplating, and then they are doing all these tax audits. Now, but you need to sort of separate that from the way Mr. Agyapong is sort of bringing that into the discussion about his own campaign. And the other thing for me is the message he puts across and the way it seems to be gaining ground. I mean, he's doing an interview and you have like scores of people waiting outside the radio station to hear him. They are listening to him. They are watching the TV outside. They're cheering. And I haven't done any scientific poll recently on the MPP primaries, but from the indication I get just monitoring the social media space.
The last one Musa Dankwa sent you indicated
yes.
That
so Musa Dankwa's last one showed that he was now the third. But this was probably over a 2 month. Yeah, so I don't know if it's done anything new. I have to check. But it seems to me, just by looking at the interest in the things he says on social media, that his rhetoric is gaining ground among the MPP folk. And the kind of things he's saying, like taking on the party, he's going to. So, I mean, compare that to Alan. I don't know if you listen to me. Alan goes to see the government chair. And we don't have any quote from him. I mean, yesterday we had about 5 quotes from Kennedy in the news. He says, go for oil deal. He doesn't think it's sensible. He's against the ECCI, right? He's talking about the GRA. He says if MPP dares him, he will expose that. And all of that is in the headlines, right? Alan goes to meet the government chair. All the headlines about the government chair saying that people should leave Ghana lands alone and things, right? Dr. Free does a live lecture. Yes, he was on Citi. He got some headlines. I think the couple of headlines he got was, I'm not an arrogant person, and I can agree to transform the economy. But I won't even say that resonated that much. I don't even think he got anything in the front page of the graphic, right? And of course, Kennedy is not necessarily getting mainstream media coverage. But if you are somebody who follows a lot of the electronic media, particularly the local language media, if you're somebody who's into YouTube, he seems to be gaining a lot of ground, And for you who's sort of analyze politics, I don't know what you make of it, because the other thing I see is that the way the media works these days, you don't even need to get into mainstream to necessarily be making inroads. Do you get my point? He will probably not make a front page in graphic for the next 3 weeks, but his message keeps going, and you listen to people on the ground, and it seems to be resonating. I don't know what you make of the MPP race generally, using yesterday as the benchmark. Somebody has prime time lecture delivered. I'm not sure he gets that much coverage. Somebody goes to see the government chair, but you have Kennedy, who's been on Asompa FM, he's been on Peace FM, and he has occasioned the GRA response. So even if you don't want to discuss him, because GRA has sent the release to everybody, somehow he gets into the mainstream. You follow my logic?
I mean, straight away, I would say that Kennedy basically is operating with a playbook of Donald J. Trump, a business tycoon who
wants to move into politics.
Move in politics after having, to a large extent, funded people who have had to run the show.
But Kennedy Agyapong is in politics.
No, I mean, I'm talking front line in the sense of wanting to run the whole of Ghana.
Oh, well.
So if you look at it from that context, you would understand what exactly is happening.
Are you saying he's selling himself as an outsider?
Exactly, that's the message.
He's presenting himself like the maverick who speaks truth to power, who is not beholden to the system.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's very similar to the Donald Trump playbook?
Yes, because if you look at what Donald Trump was able to make happen in the U.S., you would understand why, to a large extent, you have all manner of populist movements expanding and emerging across the world. We've seen that happen in Italy recently when, woman emerged with all the tough talking about what she wants happen in Italy. We saw that with Donald Trump's own emergence. Again, I mean, many other parts of Europe are also seeing aggression on the part of the populist folks. They want to change the world order in one way or the other. They want to change the fate of their country. So if you situate it within a context of Ghana, the suggestion and the narrative of Ken is that we've tried all these book-long people. He will tell you that he's not going to plenty school.
Is it economics or mitrim?
Exactly. He's not a university graduate. He would say all kinds of things about, I'm just an ordinary guy. I hustled out of this country, went to Germany, did some, menial jobs there, ended in, the US, and I've made life for myself. I've established businesses, I got into politics to help people, and I've been serving in parliament for the past 6 terms. And in the process, I've employed people, I have impacted people, I continue to impact people, and therefore, try me.
So you see the similarities there. Yeah. I'll let you pause and do tech and social media trends, because I think it's a very interesting point you're raising. The similarity between his rhetoric and that of Trump, and how, again, it's easy to dismiss, these people... It's like, Baumia will win, Alan will win, Baumia will win. Before you know, it's what? I mean, and okay, even if he wins, what does that mean? We'll see how that moves. But let's bring you tech and social media trends. It's 8:04, it's 8:05, brought to you by Vodafone and Carl Bank. So Nathan will just tell us what's trending, and then we'll come back to this discussion.
Well, Kennedy Agyapong is in the trend.
As if you knew.
For very obvious reasons. Nanama McBrown is also in the trend. Yesterday here, arrival at Unia FM was made public. There was a lot of razzmatazz, let me put it that way, around that. Even one of the papers had a full page ad this morning there. In terms of sporting trends, Mo Kudus is trending, Christian Achu is trending, Manchester City is trending as well. There's a Champions League tie later this evening. A few basketball trends here.
Let me just announce that as for the Liverpool Champions League tomorrow,
it's Wednesday.
I've given up.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm not watching it.
Why?
So I'm not liable to any. I'm not
liable. Believe that miracle is possible.
Bernard is issuing a disclaimer. He says the Wednesday game he's not part.
I'll be recording a program, so I'm out of the program. So don't mention my name on Thursday about Liverpool match. I don't know anything about it.
Anyway, to some tech news, a U.S. court rules Uber and Lyft workers are contractors. That story is on the BBC, and it says a U.S. court has ruled that gig economy giants, including Uber and Lyft, can continue treating their workers as independent contractors in the state of California. The California Appeals Court found that a labor measure known as Proposition 22 was largely constitutional. Labor groups and some workers had opposed the measure, saying it robbed them of rights like sick leave, and the firm say the proposition protects other benefits such as flexibility. So that's that for the segment this morning. We are back tomorrow with more tech and social media trends.
One Ghana, pet.
Yo, bro, I beg, make you give me correct shock absorber. Or make a do video concept, then take the Gaussian P for the engine show you.
Hey, yawa humache. Every morning you the tear calls, they browse. Actually, something they.
Hey, Tago, the way Tom make hot. I go best one if you no po. If it be you where you get Vodafone 1 Ghana promo them out. 20 minutes talk time to call all networks. Where you start get data and 1 gig from 5 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. Bye. Anka you go do pass me self, Anka. You dial *530 hash. Make we enjoy. You go fit subscribe as many times as you want.
Yes, plantain.
Yo, sweet Ama, take this by Vodafone 1 Ghana bundle. Moku vibe plus video calls and taste. You catch the vibe. Early morning, 5 a.m. sharp.
Vodafone, further together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Provident Insurance. Hooray! Provident Insurance's 40 years. Provident Insurance welcomes you to a new year. Remember to insure your new car or renew your existing motor insurance policy from now to the 31st of March and get free gifts such as fuel coupons and several other branded Provident souvenirs. Rush for insurance cover now. Terms and conditions apply. Provident Insurance, your future happy days. With Provident, man, you are covered.
Imagine you have the power to impact the world around you. At the British Council, we see students from all over the globe coming together for equality of education that achieves goals. An IELTS test from the British Council can help you own your future. For a limited time only, when you book IELTS with British Council, you will get our most popular preparation course, Road to IELTS Premium, for free. Valued at $80, Road to IELTS Premium gives you all the material you need to get a great IELTS score. Visit the British Council website today.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
10 minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show. So our basic premise this morning is MPP flag bearership race. Still early days yet. It does appear as though the momentum is with Kennedy Agyapong. Let's give you a quick highlight of Dr. Free Akoto. Yesterday, he gave a lecture on the economy. It was very agri-heavy. It was very agri-heavy at the UPSA. This is a quick highlight from the lecture.
For food and jobs intervention, production of maize has risen, doubled from 1.7 million metric tons in 2016 to 3.6 million metric tons in 2021, as the famous MC mentioned in the introduction. Soya from 143,000 metric tons to 230,000 metric tons over the same period. An estimated investment of 2.6 billion Ghana cedis was made by government as subsidy on improved seeds and fertilizers for the period 2017-2021. The value of production from the application of these subsidized inputs of seeds and fertilizer is estimated at 47.5 billion Ghana cedis. Isn't that a major achievement?
All right, so I just wanted to give a flavor of that. This was live on TV as well, and Sky, you're making a point. Maybe let's. So you're trying to draw similarities between the Trump emergence and Kennedy. I just wanted to remind you that Trump was a TV personality, businessman. Kennedy is a TV personality, but he's also a businessman, but already a politician. So that's the first difference. But I'm not trying to dispute. I'm just trying to say I see the similarities. So both of them use media very effectively. And of course, Kennedy is already in politics, 6 years, 6 terms in politics. So he's not such a novice. But I take your point. You're saying he's using the fact that he's a businessman and his poor background to come to the politics in a different way, that he's an outsider, he doesn't do book-long things, and he's different. So even though he's a politician, he can still present himself as an outsider, and it will probably work.
Yeah,
unlike the current people in the system.
Because he's never been a minister of state. Although my understanding is that he was offered a number of occasions, he rejected it. So the only thing that he's been able to do thus far is to represent his people in parliament.
Yeah.
So you cannot, strictly speaking, tag him as someone who is part of the, if you call Washington, part of Accra.
The executive.
Exactly, in the sense of being intricately involved in the day-to-day administration of the state. He uses his position to, leverages his position to get business dealings and all of these things done. So that is how you frame him. And that is how he himself is framing himself. That I am not part of the swamp, if you want to call it that.
Drain the swamp.
Exactly. And that the time has come to drain the swamp. The people who have been in charge of Accra for the past God knows when, with all their book-long things they've done, have not been able to provide bread and butter for the Ghanaian. I have demonstrated it with my businesses. I have demonstrated it by supporting people in my constituency and people outside my constituency. I have demonstrated it outside the shores of this country, running a successful taxi business in New York and other parts of the US. I have demonstrated it by working menial jobs in Germany and making a difference in my own life and the lives of other people. So if you have this choice, and the choice of people who basically have had the privilege of going to school for so many years, and yet they've not been able to strategically apply that knowledge to change the fortunes of Ghana, then you have to make a wise choice.
So he's presenting himself to the MPP delegates like the outsider. But he's also, in a very strange way, attacking the party. For example, he talks about I didn't have that, or he says that he was... he's been doing business since Rawlings days, and no government has harassed him as much as this government. Now, you're appealing to party supporters who are delegates of a political party, and you're accusing the government of that party of political witch hunting worse than what you experienced under any of the previous governments, 3 of which is NDC. Then he goes on to take on the GRA, which is an organ of state, accuses them as well. Then in a different interview, he even goes on to the Bawumia issue. He takes on Bawumia. It's like, why are people saying that if they don't give the flag bearership to Bawumia, it will mean that they are doing an injustice to the North? He starts talking about the central region have supported the MPP. They've never had a running mate from the MPP side. Like, I think it's even beyond the, and I don't know why it's still within the Trump playbook, where he's sort of attacking his own party. And this time there's a government in power, right? I mean, I don't know what you make of that strategy and how that's going to reverberate with the foot soldiers. Where is it that it's popular to attack the government now that their backs are against the wall, and therefore he's doing this as if he's always been attacking the party?
You see, if you have not been part of decision making in the sense of being so intimately involved, the way the likes of Alan, Dr. Bawumia, and Free Akoto have had to, influence the policies of Ghana, you have the liberty to go after them the way Kennedy is doing, and also to attack the institution, the vehicle that you seek to lead. Because what is the point? Kennedy Agyapong has consistently, as far as we understand it, been supportive of the cause of the party. Some executives of the party can easily deny, when we were leaders of the party, general secretary, national chairman, I didn't receive anything from him. But there will be records to show that he went to this constituency and provided this support.
Give them this.
He went to this member of parliament and supported this person. So even if the support is not necessarily centralized,
people know
there is some, loyalty within parliament and outside from people who hold influence within the MPP that he's been supportive of them. Of course, On the other side of the political divide, which is the NDC and related political parties, there are people who will tell you that, again, he's been supportive of what do you call it, they do as politicians, either in their primaries or in their internal elections or elections to get executives into office so that those executives would pave the way for you, an aspirant who wants to lead an opposition political party in your constituency. So if you look at it like that, he has been part of the system. He understands what the parties have been doing to win an election. He understands, or so he claims, what machinations have been used in the past.
Is he trying to play on the disaffection of party loyalists in the kind of rhetoric he's using, where he's basically saying they've excluded you, you haven't gotten anything, I am the one who's been giving you things. So he's hoping that he will sort of benefit from this I don't know what disappointment.
Yeah, so you have two people who stand out in Ghana's politics who did that effectively. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he used the people against the elite. He branded himself as part of the hustler, the working class, the veranda boys, the poor people, the farmers, the ordinary people in the streets, the market women. He branded himself like that against an established institution like the DCPP, lawyers, all these big wigs, and succeeded in winning an election even when he was being held in detention.
You think that's part of what Kennedy is trying to do?
He's doing that. It would seem that that is exactly what he's doing. Jerry Rawlings also did that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand any politics.
I don't speak.
I don't understand economics.
Yeah.
Yet
I know that if I'm hungry, I've not eaten. Exactly. That kind of thing.
A language like that, and if you understand the history of how, the history is told of him crediting Yokagari and all these claims that are made about him, that association with the poorest of the poor, who are almost always in the majority.
Yes.
When they hear that line and they know that, oh, so this guy was part of